wonder murmur where whispers weave the heart.
Hello, little hearts. A new whisper begins. The little old lady lived in a house so small it seemed to sigh with every gust of wind. It wasn't really a house at all. More of a tiny brick cottage with one window, one door, and just enough room for her table, her chairs, and a jug on the shelf. She lived alone, and yet she always felt it was a squash and a squeeze. Oh dear, she would grumble, her voice a low murmur. There's no room to stretch, no room to breathe. I feel as though the walls are closing in on me. One blustery morning, she met the wise old man by the village well. His eyes held the wisdom of 1,000 years, and his smile was as gentle as a morning breeze. "What seems to be the trouble, my dear?" he asked. She wrung her hands. "My house is a squash and a squeeze, sir. There's just not enough room. Won't you please help me?" The old man stroked his long white beard. "A squash and a squeeze, you say? Very well. Go home and take in your hen." The little old lady blinked. "My hen? What a curious suggestion." She went home, puzzled but trusting. She opened her door, and in clucked the hen, her red comb bobbing with every step. At first, it wasn't so bad. But then, the hen grew restless. She flapped her wings, sending feathers flying. And in her flight, she knocked the jug off the shelf. It shattered, and the water spilled all over the rug. The little old lady's nose tickled, but there was no room to sneeze without a wing hitting her face. "Oh, what a mess," she cried, throwing her hands up in the air. "It was pokey for one, and now it's tiny for two. My house is a squash and a squeeze." The next day, she went back to the wise old man. "It's worse than before. The hen has made it impossible to move." The wise old man's eyes twinkled. "I see. Then go home and take in your goat." "My goat?" she gasped. "The goat that chews on everything? What a most curious plan." Still, she did as he said. The goat trotted in, and almost immediately it chewed on the curtains, leaving them tattered and torn. It then sat down and began to nibble on a leg of the table. Now the house was chaos. The hen pecked at the goat's nose, and the goat in turn stomped around, tracking mud everywhere. The little old lady had to stand in the corner to avoid being trampled. "Glory be," she wailed. "It was tiny for two, and now it's a titchy for three. I am down on my knees. My house is a squash and a squeeze." Desperate, she returned to the wise old man the following day. "Sir, you must help me. It's a disaster." The old man hummed. "Take in your pig." The little old lady's jaw dropped. "My pig? That muddy, snorting beast?" But she was out of options. She led the pig inside. The pig, being a pig, immediately started chasing the hen, snorting and grunting and making a dreadful mess. The hen squawked in terror, flying from one end of the room to the other. The goat bleated loudly, and the little old lady was forced to scramble onto a chair just to stay out of the way. "Stop! I implore you, stop!" she shrieked. "It was titchy for three, and now it's tiny for four. My house is a squash and a squeeze." She ran back to the wise old man, tears of frustration in her eyes. "There are animals everywhere. Please, this must be your last piece of advice." The wise old man smiled. "Take in your cow." The little old lady felt a wave of despair. "A cow, a whole cow. How on earth will a cow fit in my tiny house?" But she was too far gone to question him now. She took the cow inside. The cow, a giant of a creature, took one look at the chaos, mooed in protest, and charged straight at the pig. It then jumped onto the table and began to tap its enormous hooves, dancing a mad jig. The little old lady collapsed onto the floor, pulling at her hair in utter defeat. Heavens alive! It was tiny for 4 and now it's weeny for 5. I'm tearing my hair out. My house is a squash and a squeeze. She lay there, amidst the clatter and clatter, the grunts and squawks, and the furious mooing. And for the first time, she truly understood how miserable she was. She had to get them out, all of them. She stood up, a fierce determination in her eyes. With a mighty push, she shoved the cow towards the door. It stumbled and went outside with a huge, confused moo. Then she shooed the pig out with a loud clap of her hands. The goat followed, and with a final triumphant shoo, the hen flew out of the door. For a moment, all was silent. The little old lady stood in the middle of her now empty house. She looked around at the tattered curtains and the messy floor, but she didn't see the mess. She saw space, so much space. She could walk, she could stretch, she could even sneeze. Oh my goodness, she laughed, doing a little dance. It was weeny for 5, but now it's gigantic for 1. She ran to the wise old man, her face alight with joy. Thank you so much. It isn't a squash, and it isn't a squeeze at all. It's an enormous palace. The old man just smiled. He hadn't given her a bigger house. He had simply helped her see her home through new eyes. She had learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes, to realize how much you have, you must first experience having less. And from that day on, the little old lady was filled with frolics and fiddle-dee-dees, happy and content in her perfectly spacious home.
Wonder murmur, the story departs, yet the whisper imparts.